Hey, Choi Boy here. We're going to be talking about budgeting today. It's the heart of saving and investing. Without budgeting, you can't save sustainably. You can't invest, at a constant good rate, right? So I'm going to be talking about why you should be budgeting. With this presentation I have here, it's another presentation, so I hope you enjoy. So, why do people budget? Now, it's to think about sustainability in the long term over your current impulse satisfactions. Now, it's really important to take care of your own future. You don't know what's going to happen, and obviously you do want to make big purchases that really matter in your life, or like a house or like a car. And to do that, you need a budget. Well, a lot of people budget without realizing. I guess it's called unplanned budgeting. I mean, they have a rough idea. I should be saving roughly this much, but sometimes if I want to make a really big impulse purchase, like a new TV or something like that, if you don't need it, normally you shouldn't be buying it, to be honest. Try to stick to what you actually need over what you want. Always your needs will have to come first, and obviously saving and investing should be quite high up on your list. Your first priority should be your basic living cost, so transportations, food, bills, utility and stuff like that, your mobile phone plan, stuff like that, those should come first priority in my opinion. Some people say save first, then spend later. I mean, it depends on how frugal you want to get. And if your saving plan, if you save like 70-80% of your income, unless you're on a high income, that's not gonna cut it for most of your living costs. So for our kind of people, middle class, not really high class, like middle class people, salary earners, you should be putting your basic living costs first as your first priority. Then you save, then you do whatever else you want to do with the remainder. But yeah, has to be reasonable. You can't just be like, I'm only gonna save 10% of my salary when your salary is like $100,000. It just doesn't work like that. You shouldn't be doing it like that. Obviously you can save a lot more if your income's that high. That's why budgeting comes in. It helps you realize what you can save and what you should be cutting down on, because it shows you where all your money is going at this current point while you're making it. So it's to eliminate unnecessary spending. As I said, if you have a budget, then you get to realize and you start to spend less on what really doesn't matter in the long term, to save more money, and to invest and live for your future. It's future proofing your own future. So it's really important, budgeting. As long as you're not going to die tomorrow, you're going to need some kind of budget to sustain and make a living out of it even after you retire. That's something we're going to be covering as well. So here's a not so great budgeting. So for example, everything else looks fine: rent, food, utility, data, sure, I mean, they all look fine. But if you're spending 3.6k on candles, how much is that? 3.6 times 12, let's say that's every month. So you're spending 43k on candles every month. Why? I just found this on Google. Yeah, that's not good. I mean, if that candles was savings, it'd be a lot better. But obviously it's candles. Are you burning through like a candle every day? Are you burning like, I don't know, really expensive, like 10 really expensive candles every day? I don't know, like what are you doing? I don't even know how that's possible. Anyways. Whoa. So that's why you budget. But why do you save? People don't know why they save. I mean, some people are like, oh, I don't really have a goal and I just save. That's totally fine as well, but it makes it better. It helps you save more. It helps you understand and prioritize saving more if you have a goal to why you're saving. For example, this could be a big purchase you want to make in the future that you will need. which is a house or a car. I mean, you don't really need it, but like let's say a car, you will probably need one, I guess, especially if you're living in New Zealand. Living without a car, it's kind of hard, especially in the weekends. Like it's transportation, public transport is so, and the city's kind of widespread. Like North Auckland to like South Auckland is very. It takes ages. It's not as tight, compact city, so it's really good to have a car if you want to go to the beach or go to like a nice hiking spot. You just need a car. There's not enough public transportation for that. So yeah, but house, it's really depends. Some people find renting for the rest of their lives. I prefer a house. It's a appreciating asset, and I think it just helps, and something I could probably give to my next generations later on as well. And I think that's really important, but not unnecessary. But it's a big purchase, and if you want to buy a house, obviously you need a budget somehow, and you need to save a lot of money. And I guess you'll probably buy it with a mortgage in most people's cases, and once again, that will need to come into your budgeting later on. I don't have a house. I live at my parents' house, but I do pay my part in it. I don't pay as much as a rent, obviously. That defeats the purpose. I'll get into the details later. But till now, I have been giving up most of my salaries to fund for the house extension we recently had. If you didn't check that vlog out, it's in my main channel. It's called Extension Complete or something like that, and yeah, it just shows you we pretty much doubled the house, and we bought all these new furnitures, and we just completely renovated the old part of the house as well, and we joined up the extensions and all that kind of stuff. So it's really cool. I've been funding most of my salary towards it, and it's finally coming to an end. The overdraft is pretty much done now. So from next year, January or February, I think I'll be able to keep most of my money compared to the money I've been giving to my parents. But yeah, my hair is stuck onto my glass. Okay, so why else do you need to save? Obviously retirement. 65 years old roughly, most people stopped working for health reasons, but also if you earned enough money, then you just want to live your life. I mean, you don't have to have that much energy left. You just want to chillax, play some golf, go fishing somewhere, go travel. And you want to do a lot of things when you're 65 and older. Obviously, even for most people, even living off what they made in the last 40 years might be quite hard for a lot of these people because they haven't been earning enough. But if you're fortunate enough to earn a lot between 20 to 60 years old, then make the most of it and budget and save. That really helps towards your retirement. People don't realize that. I think that's why something called KiwiSaver came out in New Zealand. So KiwiSaver originally came out because Kiwis are known to be bad savers. We don't save that much as Kiwis, and historically apparently it was pretty bad, so they made something called the KiwiSaver, which is the equivalent of the US 401k. Yeah, the 401k, something like that. So yeah, retirement is another thing you should be saving for. Splurge on what you want to get based on your income and savings. Now this is beyond your savings. So sometimes you want to use a portion of your savings to buy even a better car, or I don't know, like you want to buy a little boat or something like that. I mean, those cost quite a bit. Some of them cost like a fraction of a house, and you need a decent amount of income coming in constantly, and plus you need a lot of savings to cover it. So you don't want to be using your whole savings after like 10 years to buy a boat. That's not how you should be doing it. I think. But yeah, it really depends. But based on your income plus saving, you should be just planning. If you want to make a big other purchase other than a house and a car, which is like the necessaries, then totally up to you. But that also gets revealed while you're making a budgeting plan and like a life plan, like a financial plan. Really helps. If you invest, it makes it even better. I mean, you can probably reach that goal a lot faster within 10 years without hitting too much into the principle of your investments, and you can just do most of it with the interest from your investments. We'll get into that some other time. So preparing for emergency situations. So a lot of people have normally 3 to 6 months worth of income saved. That's really important because sometimes you just don't know. You might have to have a surgery. If you don't have health insurance, then you'll have to pay for it, and some of these surgeries are not very cheap at all, so it's really important you have money saved up. Yeah, you don't want to be hitting into your credit card loans or something like that too much just to do surgeries or something like that. If your health is one of your top priorities, of course, consider getting a health insurance, because those are a lot cheaper and it can cover a lot more things in general. So yeah, that's one thing. Unemployment, it's really important. 3 months worth of money is also towards your unemployment stages. So sometimes you might be at a time where you quit a job because you really don't like it, but you haven't found a job anywhere else. Normally I would look for a new job before I quit, but obviously it doesn't always work like that. Sometimes you might be made redundant. Happened to me in my first job, unfortunately. But you got to be prepared for that, and to be prepared for that you need to have 3 months worth of income or living costs saved up. At the least you must be well prepared to take on these unexpected situations. So that's why you save, right? And also another thing would be to invest more. You need to save more, because for me, how I do it is from my savings, I take a portion of my savings and I don't keep it all in cash in my bank account, but I invest it into ETFs, stocks, shares, bonds, or crypto or something like that. So that's really important. It all starts from saving and budgeting, then the investment comes later. If you don't budget properly, if you don't save properly, then you won't be able to invest properly either. It's just waste of time. So these are the fundamentals of that before you even invest, and it's really important that you take a good have a good think about these things, and even make a plan for yourself using an app or like an Excel sheet I'll be showing you soon. How I budget, this will be based heavily on how I budget. I'll be completely transparent about my expenses and my paycheck, and how I use it and how I will be using it from next year. As I said, I've been paying a lot of my money towards the family. Now I still will be helping my family out in some ways, as I will be explaining soon while I have the Excel sheet on, but I won't be paying them for the overdraft and things for the house extension. So that's not going to be happening sometime soon in February or something like that. So I have a plan ready to execute from next year, and I think you should do the same. So half the time I like to save more than 50%, around 50%. I say 40% at the minimum of my paycheck every month into a savings, and from there I save I invest 50% of my savings. So let's say if I save $2,000 every month, then I invest $1,000. That's how I would do it. Obviously that's totally up to you individually, how you set it up, but that's like the kind of the concept here. Investing 10 to 80%, as I said, I'd keep around 50% of my savings, so half cash, half investment, and obviously the investments will grow, and eventually it will grow way bigger than my cash savings. Obviously that's how you should be investing in general, I think. But yeah, I don't think it's a really good idea to keep too much cash because of all these things like inflation and all that kind of stuff, recession, and bank accounts only cover at most inflation. I explained this in my previous video. Joshua Wang also covers it really well in his new video, so check his channel out as well. I'll try put it into the description below. But yeah, he also he does like this investment channel, and I think it's really important that you guys check it out, because he goes into like fundamental kind of basic investment kind of videos, so it helps you kind of like get into that kind of motive and what platform to use and what kind of investment types you should be putting into, like the fundamental ones like stocks and ETFs. I don't think he does like crypto or anything like that. I'll cover the crypto and the high risk ones, but for fundamental investments, go to his channel, check it out. So let's get on to my Excel sheet. Sorry, my throat's a bit dead. Okay, so this is my budgeting sheet. Now, as I said, I'm going to be very transparent. This is exactly what I'm going to be getting next year. So as you can see, we'll start from the start. This is a budgeting sheet based on a monthly kind of view. Obviously, some of these expenses are not in a monthly kind of format, so I've changed it to a monthly format, and I've kind of put it in like this. It's a bunch of formulas and all these kind of lists. It's also to kind of refresh yourself where you're spending your money on, because sometimes while you're making this, you'll realize, oh, why have I been spending this much money on this kind of things, and you start shrinking and allocating more money into your savings or something like that. So it's a realization phase while you're making this kind of plan. It helps you a lot, I guarantee. So let's start. My salary is 87.5k right now. Working as a data engineer, and after tax, this is why I like to use Excel, because I have like these kind of formulas, and this formula is the New Zealand tax formula, so it helps me calculate from this salary. It uses this number to change it to my after tax. So if I change to 100k, then it will change like that, as you can see. So this is a new sheet I made. This is to remind myself every month that I should be using these kind of allocations. A lot of it is static, kind of regular expenses, and some of them are like variable, like for example food and entertainment. Sometimes I might eat more but eat less, but this is like the boxes I kind of allocate for it. Anything I don't use from like food and entertainment and stuff like that, or any bucket list things that I actually don't end up getting, it goes into my savings. Obviously I put everything into my savings first of all. So let's see, 87.5. Obviously I'm trying to raise my salary more every year, so this will change. Your budgeting should change based on your income. If your income changes, you change this as well, but for now it's 87.5. After tax, it's 67.7k. Now, from that, a good portion of it goes to my student loan repayment. I don't know, the student loan repayment seems to go up proportionally. I don't know, not even proportionally, but the percentage goes up with your salary. I'm pretty sure when I got paid 43k, so in my first job I got paid 43. Really low, but I started at the bottom, straight from the bottom. Now we're here, man, you know. So back then it was like 4%, 5%. Now it's like 9%. I don't know what. I must have got this formula somewhere. Like, I really don't know. But yeah, how did I do this? So I minus this. So I think this is like the threshold. Yeah. So I think this is like the threshold. I really don't know. I must have got it from somewhere, but this is how much I pay in student loan, and it seems to be quite what do you call it? Quite accurate. Yeah. And Kiwi Saver 4%. I leave it on 4% right now. 3% is a bit low for me. My employer, my workplace, my company actually pays 3% towards my Kiwi Saver every month as well. Some companies match your Kiwi Saver. So for example, they match your contribution rate. My contribution rate is 4%. If a company does a Kiwi Saver match, that means they match the 4% there, and they also contribute 4% on top of your 4%. My current company only does 3%. That's totally fine. That's like the norm for most companies. Don't expect most companies to match. They don't, because it is coming out of their own banks, and you know, obviously if it's like a big company, then they're most likely to do it. If not, it's not normally 3%. So yeah, if it was a Kiwi Saver match, I would also consider 8%, because that's 16% of my salary every month, where I only put 8% and I get a free 8% of my salary every month, well, out of my monthly paycheck every month. So, you know, free money, I'll do it. But yeah, at this rate I'll just leave it to 4%, especially because I do my own investments as well, so really don't need to put too much more money towards KiwiSaver, because I can't really take it out whenever I want. KiwiSaver, you can only take it out when you are buying your first house, $10,000 max I think, or if you're 65 years old, which is your retirement kind of age. So yeah, it's kind of money locked up. You can also take it out, but you can, if you're going to, like for example, Australia to live, then you can move your KiwiSaver scheme to like an Australian equivalent one. Yeah, it goes on and on and on. But yeah, I'm planning not to touch my KiwiSaver till I'm 65 years old. I have it on growth rate, a growth fund, meaning it's the highest risk, highest reward, high risk to reward kind of ratio fund you can ever put on a KiwiSaver scheme. Because I don't plan to touch it till 65, that's totally fine. It's normally it's recommended for KiwiSaver funds that will last for more than 10 years, meaning I'm not going to touch it for the next 10 years, obviously, because I'm not going to touch it for the next 40 years. So yeah, we'll leave it. 4% is more than enough for me, and I'll have a decent amount out when I'm 65, even if I do keep on doing this, so that's fine. Fortnightly net incomes. This is how much income I get every fortnight. The 56 I get 2.1k. The $56 is probably like the ACC. The company actually pays for my ACC with, like, they combine the ACC and the PAYE together, and they pay it for me. So this one actually doesn't subtract the ACC cost levy as well. I should do anyways. Not a big difference. I mean, $500 and yeah, we'll leave it. Anyways, monthly, we're talking about 4.6k every month. I have these don't touches. These are don't touches because these actually change based on my salary. Like, I've made it auto calculate. So yeah, this is exactly why I have it as don't touch. It will automatically do it. Like subscriptions, don't touch, because you just put it here, and pretty much this number just adds up all the money, all the subscription fees you pay every month and stuff like that. So let's get straight into it. Savings account. I try to save at least around 50% roughly. Really depends on your income. As I said before, I earn income kind of save like a fortnight worth of income every month. Okay, that is slightly below 50%. As I said, I have bigger boxes here and there for like food and entertainment. Sometimes I might not even use $500 a month on food and entertainment. I mean, most of the time I won't, especially in the entertainment. That's like normally like budget I have for like meeting with friends. But yeah, sometimes I won't use it, and it will just go into my savings account, you know, roughly. And sometimes food as well. I mean, sometimes I bring in lunch. I don't really buy it, then it's a lot cheaper that way. And obviously my mum makes my lunch. If I do bring in my lunch, and I'm too lazy to do that. But yeah, if I live by myself, I would actually make my own lunch, because yeah, I'm lazy. Anyways, no. Okay, so yeah, 2.2k every month. That's like the box I would like to save at least. Okay, this is the at least box for savings. If I save like that, and including the remainder after the savings and all the subscription, yearly remainder is that, monthly remainder is that, so then that also goes into my savings. So actually I'm saving 2.5k even with all the expenses. But if I don't use all my $300 and $200 for food and entertainment, that also goes into my savings, which will be more than 2.5k. It will be like 2.6 or 7, depending on how much I use that month. So more savings, that's fine. I mean, I don't need to use. I'm not like, oh, I must use $300 on food and $200 on entertainment. It doesn't work like that. If you're not going to use it all, that's better for you, I guess. I mean, more money to save and invest. That's fine. So that's it. Subscriptions. I have a list of subscriptions. This is also to clear the visibility. I mean, I could just add it all up in this box here, but I decided to just make a table out of it, just so I kind of know what I have constantly going out. For example, Apple Music, the app subscription, the gym subscription. I go to City Fitness, and that's $7 a week. I've been going there for like 3 years now, two years now, yeah, something like that. I mean, keep going with that. Donations, I donate to a Christian kind of student organization in the university, so I do that. Mobile Mobile plan, skinny. Yeah, so I have my 4.5 gigabyte mobile plan there. My commutes are long, so I need some kind of internet. I just get too bored. Badminton. I play badminton weekly at the Korean club, so that obviously costs money as well. So this is it. I mean, I think I have a few more subscriptions. Like I go to another badminton club, like the Auckland University one, but yeah, that's like 25 bucks. Like that's like 50 bucks a year, pretty much. 25 each semester, somewhere like that. 35 bucks. I mean, that's not worth really putting in. I mean, I'll put it in later, but yeah, I'm not even going right now because university's on break right now. So yeah, so together it comes to 181 bucks per month. Not too bad, quite high. I was actually pretty surprised. I mean, the donation's quite a big chunk of that. Yeah, but that's fine. I like to donate. I like to kind of help others do their missionary stuff and all that, so that's fine. Transport, 200 bucks is for my AT hop card. I use 50 bucks on bus and train to commute every week, and that comes up to roughly 200 bucks a month. 120 bucks, that's the petrol fuel for my car. I pay the fuel for my car. I actually use the car only in the weekends. I use like roughly 100 k's every weekend to get to badminton, then also to the city to go to church and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, but also in the weekdays my mum uses it because my sister stole my mum's car because she started working, and my sister works in the North Shore. So yeah, we live in East Auckland, so obviously it's a long commute and can't really use public transport. It's a bit too, yeah, it's too much. So she just drives there. She travels in the off-peak, so it's not too bad for her to drive as well. So yeah, I let my mum use my car in the week. That's totally fine. I pay for all the petrol. That's fine as well. That's 120 bucks. So together it makes 320 bucks every month. Not too bad, once again. Bills. So this is like the things that I still help the family. Obviously I've been giving, you know, like 3k a month to my parents, you know, until this year pretty much, and I've been doing that. I've been giving them a lot of money. That's gonna come to an end now. From next year I'm planning to pay all the bills. That's what I like to do to help my family. So the bills is 500 bucks. That kind of covers the electricity, water, and the internet, and the Korean TV kind of subscription box, something like that. That comes with the internet price at Megatel. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. But also, the 225 bucks 75 cents, that's the land rates. So I also pay the land rates. Land rates are like 675 6 yeah 277 6 bucks, something like that, and that's a quarterly thing. So I've made that into a monthly thing, and it comes to 225.75 pive. Freaking Asian. Asian star pive. Yeah, so 225 bucks every month. So together it makes 725 bucks. That's probably like my biggest expenses, other than, yeah, out of anything else in my things. Without that I should be saving a lot more, but that's what I like to do for the family. Totally my own kind of choices there. Obviously not everyone does that, so that's totally up to you. That's what I do here. So yeah, comfortable doing that, that's fine. So yeah, pay the bills. Yep, so as I mentioned, food. So food is my lunch when I work. I mean, I don't know, it's quite irregular if I bring in lunch or not, and if I don't, then I just get like a $10 lunch or $15 lunch around my workplace. Yeah, so that's like 300 bucks divided by 22. That's like roughly 12, 13, 14 bucks every meal. Yes, I use around 10 to 15, so that's fine. That's assuming that I eat every day, every work day. But obviously, as I said, sometimes I don't eat lunch, or sometimes I bring in lunch and it's a lot cheaper, and my when I bring in lunch, it's normally my mum gives me something because we have leftovers, something from last night, or she has something I can eat at lunch. Nice lady. So yeah, sometimes I don't use that $300, so that's fine. That's just a box allocation. Whatever I don't use in that box, it goes all back into my savings while it's originally in my bank account, and I just don't use it. So that's totally fine as well. $200 a month on entertainment, that covers like meeting with friends and I don't know, coffee, I don't know, all these other things. I mean, yeah, I mean, watch a movie or a musical, I don't know, watch a comedy show, attend some kind of show, I don't know, like concert. Like this is like the kind of budget I have for that, meeting with friends and socializing in general. So a lot of times I don't even use that because I don't have friends. Oh god, that sounds so sad. Anyways, yeah, so a lot of times I won't use $200 on entertainment every month, but I just like to have the box there. Once again, if I don't use it, it's in my bank account. I just don't use it. I just put it into more savings. I just buy more investments with it manually. I would have some kind of auto invest going on, but you know, I'll do it manually if I have extra cash that month or something like that I don't need to save, or I just keep it as cash and put it into a long deposit, a term deposit or something like that. I don't know. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We got others. So other expenses, for example, I have the others here. These are like not the monthly subscription ones. So like, these are normally like a yearly thing that I might pay for. For example, here, I mean, I don't have much going on in others, to be honest. Like, yeah, I mean, others, I have a car service and WAF. I mean, servicing my car, sometimes I use $200 a year. Sometimes I use $600 a year. I mean, so far I've been averaging like $300, but you never know. I mean, I drive a Volkswagen Golf. It's a German car. These parts are quite expensive if you need to replace it, so I've put a box for $500 a year. I don't think I will be hitting it. Volkswagen Golf's actually a nice car, pretty common car, parts are not that expensive. I have my own local mechanic that I'm really close to, so he gives me a really good rate as well. So kudos to him. I don't spend that much, but I just have it allocated. Once again, if I don't use this much, it goes into my bank. Car insurance, my car costs around $700 to $900. I mean, that cost will go down every year because I put down the cost of the car, like the value of the car, down every year for the insurance. So just because I don't want to be paying like $950, $1,000 every year while my car's depreciating. So obviously I put it down appropriately. So I'm expecting to only spend like $800 on insurance next year. Then obviously $100 I don't use goes into bank. Cool. Lastly, I got something called a bucket list. A bucket list is something I would like to buy that year. So next year I'm thinking to buy a computer monitor, which I already bought, which I'm using right now. 2 monitors and a rig. I already bought it. I had to get a loan from my mum and I'm paying it back on top of the big monthly kind of money I'm giving them. So that's why I said February next year, because next January I'm done with the house overdraft, but I borrowed $3,000 from my mum. Obviously my mum was fine. She said she could pay for this and I don't need to pay her back, but I think I would like to, because I like to think myself as very independent and I don't want to be borrowing. I really don't like borrowing people's money. I really don't like, you know, using other people's money too much. I like to lend and borrow people money or buy people things for free. I mean, I'm quite lenient me giving, but I don't really like taking too much. It just puts a lot of personal pressure on myself. I don't know why. I don't know if this is a good thing. Probably it's a good thing, but yeah, I like to pay for what I think, especially if it's like $3,000. It's like a whole rig. I mean, yeah, I probably want to pay for it. I just don't have enough right now. because of them family. My mom's very considerate of that, so she's helped me get this, but I'll be paying her back in January. So that's there. I mean, it's coming out. Obviously it's been gone down to a monthly kind of thing, so everything here is a monthly view. So I mean, that's it been split once again. I do want to buy a new camera and Rode mic, and possibly a new recording mic. Why I didn't put it in there yet, because I'm not too sure if I'm actually going to buy it, and if I'm going to buy it, am I going to buy it with my what do you call it, my paycheck, or if I'm going to buy it from the profits from my investments. If my investments work well next year, my cryptocurrencies, then obviously I don't need to touch into this and break the whole budgeting thing. But if not, I know you can just chuck it in there. But I have the prices of what I really want to get next year. I mean, I have it here, but if that's not the case right now, I don't have it here because I'm not sure if I'm going to be touching it from this budgeting point of view or something like that. I mean, yeah, it gets complicated. It really, this Excel sheet is very customizable, so yeah, do bear in mind. But yeah, the camera I want to buy is $3,000. Oh, excuse me. And the Rode mic is 375 bucks, which connects to the camera pretty much. It's like one of those DSLR with a mic on top kind of configuration. I do want to buy that next year before I go back to Korea. I want to do some more travel vlogs. It's gonna go on my main channel, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully I make it a lot better quality next year. I'll be working on that. Recording mic, I just chucked that in. I'm looking at a Rode NT1, yeah, something like that. So that's roughly $500 to $600. So let's say $600 a set, like the set. No, that's like $700 because I want to buy the Rode kind of audio interface as well. So it's a Phantom, acts like a preamp. So yeah, so that's my bucket list. I mean, the computer I already bought, and I'm confirmed I bought it, so that's in there. But the rest, I still don't know if I'm actually gonna get it from my budget thing. If I am gonna get it, I will chuck these into the main table here later on. But for now, I'm not too sure, so I'll leave it out. But I do have the prices here just in case I do really want to commit buying them. But nonetheless, the bucket list, it's at $250 every month. But obviously, I'll be giving my mum a lump sum in January, pretty much. Luckily, I have some money in my bank account, and if I get paid in January, which I hopefully should be, I'll be able to pay that $3K easily. So that's fine. I just keep it there. It's going to be a lump sum. But for this kind of view, for simplicity, it's going to be $250 a month. So this is like the remainder of the year. Pretty much in December, end of December, I should have roughly $4,550 remainder, assuming I use all this up. If I don't, let's say I get more savings here and there, then it can go in here, right? Let's say I actually only use 100. Oh my goodness, that's not good. That becomes a negative yearly thing here. Becomes a negative, obviously. But if I only use $1,000, $100 a month on entertainment, actually, then I'll be getting a 5.7K at the end of year remainder on top of the savings. This is like a yearly remainder thing. It makes sense to me. It might be a bit confusing to you. Sorry about that if it actually is confusing, but yeah, pretty much, yeah, it really depends on how much of my budget I actually use up. The less I use up, the better for me. I mean, the bills might not always come up to $500 a month for the electricity bills, water, and internet and Korean TV, but if it does, then obviously it goes into here. I mean, if I don't use it all up, it ends up to my savings account. It ends up to my bank account. I mean, it will just be one account for savings and yearly remainder. But I mean, this is just for like a budgeting perspective. You just want to see where your money is going to, and this is what it's for. And for this yearly remainder, if I don't, if I want to go traveling, which I am planning to go to Korea next year. I mean, that's one thing, and that's why I have a thing called maybe for travel. So I'll use this yearly remainder as for traveling things. So flights will cost around 1.6k return, something like that. I mean, then I'll go there and I'll use like, I don't know, 2-3k, including all the food, accommodation, and buying my relatives presents and all that kind of stuff. Probably use a bit more. Obviously, the more I save from these kind of entertainment and others, and I don't know, bills, the more I save from here, the more money I'll have to spend. If I want to kick into some of my savings as well, if it's not enough, then I'll do that as well. I'm comfortable doing that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Quite confusing, but altogether, including the remainder and the savings, I'll be saving around 30k next year if it all goes to plan. My after tax and after these deductions, I'm roughly getting like 56k. So I'm saving more than half of my, a bit more than my, yeah, because of 30k to 55k, so it's a bit more than half, which is where I want to be. And obviously I think a good 10 to 15k of that will be going into investments in my standards. So that's how it's going to be. If you know, this is like a little stupid thing I have, but if I save like this for the next several years until I'm 30 years old, which I said 6 years later because I'm going to be 24 next year, 23 right now. So if I save like this to 30 years old, then I'll have 185k. Obviously, I'm going to expect to get more salary in the next few years. I mean, my job, my role, actually, you know, IT industry, I mean, I'm not even a senior, I'm like an intermediate guy. I'm expecting to get a lot more pay in the long run, so obviously I'll be saving a lot more, and hopefully I'll be saving a lot more than that. Obviously I'll have bigger purchases to go through in the coming years, like a new car. I really want a new nice car. I'm a car guy, so I work at Trade Me Motors. If you didn't know, I'm a big car guy. I look at car data every day. It makes my life a lot harder because every day I'm looking at car data and I'm like, oh, I really want that car. That car's got really nice specs. Oh my god, it's so fast. You know, all this stuff. So it doesn't really help, but you know, that's how it goes. So that's the budgeting part. Sorry I took a bit of time, but I really wanted to kind of explain what I did in my Excel sheet. I can share this if I want. If you want it, I could share the template with you and you can change it up and you can play around with it if you can't be bothered making your own. If you don't need something like this. Honestly, this is just for my complexity and how I want to customize it. But if you find with it, if you want it very minimalistic, I recommend you to look in through the Google apps and do some Google research to see what budgeting app is the best. I don't use the app myself, but I tried, but it just didn't fit my needs, so I made an Excel sheet for it. But if for you, it might be more simpler to just use an app that that already exists, and it might help you better. So that let me just save that. It's a kind of copy of my originals. I don't want to touch it, so I obviously made a copy of this. This is like kind of like a wider view of my budgeting. So this is like very, very basic. It doesn't go into the finer details like I did in the budgeting thing. This is called a life plan. I started this thing when I was in what do you call it? When I was in university, yep. So let me try look for it actually. So I wonder if I still have like the old versions of it. Oh, version 1. All right. This was like the first kind of version I had. So this was like when I first started in like my final year of university. I was like, okay, I'm gonna budget. I'm gonna be earning this much. I'm gonna have this much tax taken off. Then I'm gonna use this transport, this food, and have family thing and all that kind of stuff. And you know, it was very basic here. I mean, mum's new car, mortgage, house. This would be like, I don't want to, yeah, but that should be like house deposit or something like that. I mean, it was very simple. My first car, my first proper car, like a nice fast car, student debt, and total earned after tax. I mean, quite funny. I mean, very, very basic compared to what I have now. Okay. That was even before I started working full time or had like a job. So yeah, I didn't know what the numbers were going to be, but you know, this is life plan has been updated. It's been upgraded to start from next year. I mean, I've been using this life plan since I started working 2 years ago, but it just changed so much, and my salary actually went up so much, and how I use my money and how I budget also changed a lot in the past 2 years. I think it matured quite a bit, and that's why I decided to make a brand new one. I try to be a bit more yeah, as you can see, my parent allowance probably dropped a bit. That's probably because back when I first made it in the first versions, I didn't expect to give a lot of my salary for the first 2 years of my working life to my parents. The house extension was not really planned. It wasn't really planned until my first year of working, and suddenly they were like, hey, I want to build we're going to extend our house. And I was like, okay, let's extend it properly and make it bigger than what you guys were planning, and I'll chip in. And that's how I did that. So yeah, long story. I'll talk about that some other time. From next year, I'll be turning 24, and let's say my salary stays at 87.5. I'm hoping to get a raise next year, obviously. So yeah, I mean, yeah, but let's say it stays the same: transport, food, entertainment, holiday. Yeah, so let's say I do that, and KiwiSaver, this is how much I would have in the KiwiSaver account. I have like 11k in my KiwiSaver right now, but whatever, after income deductions I get that much, and my bank balance will be 32k-ish, which is very similar to what I had in the budgeting plan. Obviously this one is a lot more simplified. I mean, this is like a rough view. It's a rough view of where I'm gonna be. So this is like a very, very, very wide view. As I say, it doesn't go into the details. It doesn't go into like how much I'm actually gonna spend in the details. So these numbers can change, but this is like a rough estimate on, this is just to cover my big purchases. As I said, remember I said budgeting and saving is about big purchases and big things like house and car. And really, I mean, I want to put at least 150 to 200k down to my first house deposit, honestly speaking. And you know, I'm gonna see if I can afford it. Obviously I can. I mean, I'll still have 160k left even after putting the 150k down. So if I put down 200k, I will still have 110k left, so I can afford to do that. Obviously if I get married here, then I don't have the wedding cost or honeymoon cost or whatever like that. But you know, it covers the kind of like, let's say if I don't get married, I do want to get married, but I mean, let's say if we do all the wedding and the honeymoon, let's say, I mean, yeah, well, let's forget about it. It puts too much complexity here. The mortgage, let's say I'm paying like 15k a year, and living cost, let's say 20,000 a year, all for the whole family. If I have children, sure, I probably maybe spend a bit more, but you know, these are all rough estimates. I mean, I will amend and I will update it as I live, as I progress on. And obviously I don't know when I'm gonna get married and stuff like that, so these it can go anywhere, but you know, for the first 4 years, hopefully it's quite accurate. I mean, I do want to buy a new car when I'm 26 years old, and do want to make a house deposit when I'm like 30-ish. I might buy my house even earlier, and you know, I mean, I can probably buy at 29 or 28. I mean, I can still do that. It really depends. Yeah, I mean, I'll be done with my student debt when I'm 26. On the year I'm 26, I'll be done with my final payments for my student loan, which is really nice. Apparently, yeah, cool. So this was me and how I budget and how I have my financial plans. If you have any questions, put a comment down below. If you like this video, smash that like button, give me that subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell icon for my future updates. I will go into these kind of tiny bits that might help you, and try my best to answer all your small questions you might have about investing. A lot of people, there's a lot more resources about how you should be investing, and how you should be, what kind of investments you should be looking at, what kind of ETFs you should be looking at. As once again, Joshua Wang does a really good really good videos on that kind of stuff, so check his channel out, put it in the description down below. But for me, I'll be for these kind of things, I'll be focusing on the fundamentals, what you should be doing for investments, what's your mental type, what's your mental how to prepare your mental state, I don't know, some of that psychological things, you know, how you should be thinking about life, and how you should be planning financially and stuff like that. And I guess I will be going into cryptocurrencies a bit more from next year as well. It's been quite dead right now. I'm actually quite depressed myself, but obviously I'll take my own advice and try not get emotionally attached. If it's going down, I just buy more. I am going to be buying more crypto, just saying, and I'll be getting an accountant so I can pay my taxes on that and all that kind of stuff. So I will go into those kind of things some other time, but for now I think it's a good time to kind of end the video, and I'll catch you another time. Latest. Stop.